In the world of high horology, there are books about brands, there are books about movements, and then there is Patek Philippe Genève, a book that doesn't just chronicle a manufacturer, it maps the cultural gravity of mechanical timekeeping itself. This is not a casual appreciation, it's not a marketing fluff, it's a reference volume for serious collectors, a deep historical archive penned by two of the most respected chroniclers in watch culture and a cornerstone of any watch library. Today, we explore what makes this book indispensable, not just for wristwatch lovers, but anyone who wants to understand how objects become history. Patek Philippe Genève was authored by Martin Huber and Alan Banbery, two towering figures in horological scholarship. Martin Huber was a respected historian and collector whose work helped shape how serious audiences understand Patek Philippe's output. Alan Banbery worked for decades inside Patek Philippe and later curated the Patek Philippe Museum in Geneva, giving this book a rare insider and archival depth. This collaboration is not theoretical. It's deeply rooted in institutional memory and first-hand engagement with the brand's heritage. That alone gives this book a different authority than most brand histories. Published originally in 1982, Patek Philippe Genève was a large-format coffee table reference that chronicled the brand's evolution up to that point, with significant emphasis on wristwatches. But then this expanded version was published in 1988 to include more versions of watches produced by Patek Philippe up to the next point. It includes rich historical narrative, detailed illustrations, and photographs, analysis of major models, movements, and technical milestones. A multilingual text, it's in the same book you can find it in English, French, German, and Italian. This work functions not solely as a catalog, but as a chronicle of influence. How Patek Philippe evolved in response to economic, social, and technological forces. Unlike many collector guides that simply list references and production runs, Huber and Banbery's book is narrative-driven. Early origins of Patek Philippe in Geneva, the innovations of co-founder Jean-Adrien Philippe, creator of the keyless winding system, and his partnership with Antoine Nobert de Patek. The evolution of complications such as perpetual calendars, meter repeaters, chronographs, pivotal wristwatch models, and design philosophies. Patek Philippe's responses to industrialization and crisis moments such as the quartz crisis is also included here. The result of all of this is not a catalog, but a historical arc showing how a watchmaker became a cultural institution. This volume very quickly became a must-have reference long before newer brand-published books or commercial coffee table volumes came out because of its depth and objectivity within a collector's framework. It is prized for archival photography capturing vintage timepieces, broad chronological span, focus on wristwatches and pocket watches alike, multilingual presentation appealing to international collectors. And some editions, especially limited or signed copies from the late 1980s, are now rare collector items themselves. So not only the watches, but also the book that explains those watches is a collectible piece in itself. What this book does subtly and powerfully is place Patek Philippe in the context of Swiss watchmaking's cultural export. The role of Geneva as a center of precision and luxury, partly institutionalized through such works, helped shape how mechanical watches became global status symbols. A watch from Patek Philippe isn't just a device, It signals legacy, continuity, and craftsmanship. Objects in this book are not just shown. They are explained within social transitions, geopolitical shifts, transformations in design taste. This is exactly the kind of cultural layering we explore in Watches and Politics over the episodes in Series 1 and then later in the interviews in Series 2. So here's where the political dimension quietly shines. Over decades, Patek Philippe has become not only a maker of high watches, but a purveyor of cultural legitimacy. Patek Philippe Genève contributes to the legitimacy by documenting the brand's heritage rigorously. It also creates a shared historical narrative. It also reinforces the idea that Patek holds a unique position in horological history. Books like this do more than inform the readers. They shape collective memory. They tell the world why something matters, and that's influence without overt marketing, and that is what in politics we call the soft power or soft cultural power. Later Patek reference volumes, including those published by the Stern family and other historians, draw on the archival foundations of this volume and what this book helped lay. Collectors and scholars often cite Huber and Banbery as foundational, particularly for pre-20th century wristwatch contexts and early Patek complications, but also historical breadth as well as the references that it includes. This book is a reference pillar in serious watch collector libraries. What stays with you after engaging with Patek Philippe Genève book is not just the watches themselves, it's the layers of meaning within them. Each reference isn't just a product, it's a response to technological challenges, cultural demand, economic context, artistic expression as well. That's the difference between information and understanding, and that's why this book still matters today after decades. So what is then this book really? It is a chronicle of craftsmanship, a historical argument, a collector's archive, a cultural atlas of horology, basically an encyclopedia that you want to keep it near yourself when you want to learn or decode something in the vast world of watchmaking and watch collecting. But what about you? When you link Patek Philippe, what era excites you the most? The 19th century origins or the 20th century wristwatch revolution? Do you see watches as documents of ingenuity or tokens of prestige, you personally? And which other historical watch, do you think should have their own book? Well, drop me a comment and send me a message, because the story of time is bigger than any single watch, and this is Watches and Politics, where we love to discuss all the brands and watches that have such an impact in culture, in human history, and in politics. And I can't wait to see you in the next chapter.